Welcome to Eventvods. Watch the full game from EMEA Masters, Winter 2025.
Stuff like the Kale, like the Rumble, which probably should be banned away, but I haven't spotted it yet, and it gives Baus a huge amount of trouble.
Yeah, the WIE again being banned away. I think this is a champion that has the most big ban presence, but not in the way that you've seen in the lane. It's something that's just constantly being banned. Ezreal being locked in, Tibby, also one of those AD carries that's been fairly safe. It's an AD carry that can, easily manage itself on its own. I think that's a good pick here.
Absolutely. I think probably that's the reason we saw Sivir last game, was the fact that they thought ahead that they might get blue side, and they needed the Ezreal then, because it's the best AD carry that you can pick blindly in this scenario. It's very safe pick, very good in the present meta, tons of damage, and it's just a solid B1. On the other hand, I see some smiles from Temporal as the Corky Rel gets logged in for AV.
Tell me, Temporal, why are you so happy?
Lost Ratones struggled a little bit yesterday, because as soon as the Corky could get on any sides, the Ezreal fell, you lost one of your two pillars, Nemesis was not able to convert the rest of the fight. So three tanks stared at a Corky that had already killed their AD carry, and there wasn't a lot to do for it. So I like the pickup here. Lost Ratones still go to this Braum setup in the bot lane. They don't care if they're losing if you can't push it, and it gives Reckless so much room to maneuver later.
Yeah, I think Braum is also one of those very, very strong picks. It's a very safe pick. I think also the passive will always be useful no matter what, and I think the ultimate's good. Pantheon being picked up here, I wonder where that is going, Tibby.
I'm feeling like this might be Valia's Bouses. I have no clue, but I'm here to see. I'm here to watch what they will do.
I mean, I see Temporal. I see Temporal nodding his head. Maybe you know more.
Valia. I think this was scrimmed.
Valia.
This was scrimmed, and it was also played not in finals, but the set before. That is.
He did play it. He did play it in the NLC.
He has played.
I'm
he has
pretty
played
sure.
it a few times. Yes, and also against Bulldog, which was a slightly tougher series than I expected, at least. This is Value being the tip of the spear, going in. We're abandoning that go slow sort of style. We are moving styles around mid-series, which is Lost Returns can do it. Mark of a team that has practiced very well, knows what they're doing. With that in mind, forget this slow stuff, forget the setup, time to fight.
Yeah, and AV rounded out with their jungle answer, which is going to be the Lilia, very much focusing on getting ahead in jungle where they can. And I think what you said here, the stage pretty set, is like Valia's going to look for that early game lead, where Lilia's going to try to hurt him where he hurts most is just taking away his farm. But I don't think a player like Valia or a Pantheon would care too much. And looking at the bans, Shen being taken away, very much target ban versus Rocklow, and then the Syndra and Wei also being torn away from the pool. Yeah, I mean, no real big surprises. Now Cassandra being gone around that for the bans, and I think Tibby, they're trying to make the top lane a bit more, better manageable for Baus with the tanks going away from Rocklow.
They're making it more playable, that's for sure, because they know that Rocklow basically wants to play the tanks, wants to play those weak siders heavily impacting team fights. But at the same time, I feel like Temporal has been saying this whole time that the late game scaling, this could be a possibility. And this, with all the bans that we're seeing, don't forget the Aatrox, and with all the bans that we're seeing, I think it's looking more likely to be happening.
Yeah, now we do see, we don't necessarily talk a lot about them, but we see the Gragas hover here. I mean, I think that's what the top lane is going to be. Do you think that Aatrox would match well into the Temporal?
It's acceptable. It's not incredible. It's not as bad as something like Jax. This pick is essentially saying EV can't pick Jax to dominate the side, which also has been Lost Returns Achilles heel once or twice. We'll be going up top side. The setup from EV says it has to be a carry. The Jhin has to set up for someone, and it has to be someone with gold out of a lane. So while Lilia will also enjoy it, we're looking towards a Kale, we're looking towards an Aatrox. Something big in the top lane. It has to be a big swing for EV here.
Yeah, now Talia being picked up, I'm guessing that is going to the hands of Nemesis, and now they're hovering here. I mean, I would love to see him in top lane, but I don't think that's necessarily going to happen here. They pick up the Galio, Tibby.
Okay, I was not expecting a Galio to show up this late into the matchup, but it does make sense as a direct counter to the Gragas. It does have the magic resist shield. He has those defensive stats that go. I mean, champion goes really well with magic resist, so it makes sense to face Baus in the laning phase by itself. It still gives a little bit of wombo combo potential with the Rel from Tokimo, and I wasn't expecting it, but I feel like it's a very welcome surprise by the squad of EWI.
Yeah. Are you happier with this draft from Los Ratones coming into game 2, Temporal?
I'm a Kale enjoyer, and even though the lane is pretty bad into Gragas, I'd have picked it anyway, let's face it, we'd have sent it. The Gragas kind of manages the tighter game state that the Talia will create, because Talia Pantheon will pick on someone, Galio comes over the top. It does put more pressure on Relative in this game. You can't just have a good game, like you did last, with a decent KDA and decent damage. You have to be pushing it on this Corki now. You cannot just rely on your teammates. There is not enough between Corki, Lilia, and then the pieces of damage from Galio and Jhin to play all the way through a tanky Gragas, an evasive Ezreal. There isn't enough to stitch it all together unless you are pushing the lead and you are ahead. So the Prime League side really does need to hit the gas from go.
Yeah, because I was going to say Temporal, and I think you kind of grasped, but in conclusion, Tibi, this draft we see on the side of EWI EINFACH is that, you know, team fights are going to be insane if they can pull it off.
That's true. That's true. They do have the wombo combo.
Yeah, and I think with that wombo combo, talking about that, we're going to head on over to our casters. Rev, Trajan, take it away.
30 seconds until minions
Thank
spawn.
you, Orchid. We are straight into the game. Oh, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Rev. We're on to the Rift for game number 2. Los Ratones putting a strong game 1 together. EWI EINFACH with a very different draft coming out, as are the Ratones, right? This is not a sit back and scale comp. This is a get stuck in and do stuff comp.
I mean, sure, you have to do stuff. However, you do still have a little bit of a scaling. The enemy team doesn't have a lot of a front line, so the Ezreal isn't gonna be way too sad if the game goes on long, because every spell, every auto attack that connects will connect to a target that will get damage back. Even the Galio, he's not the greatest physical damage tank. The Talia still scales, but you do have the opportunity to do a lot of stuff, and I'm looking at the jungle support duo, which Reckless and Velia have been excellent throughout the split. And imagine if you get tagged by Brom, and then suddenly Velia comes in with the Aegis Assault or whatever it's called. You're stunned forever.
Okay, we're going for an aggressive move here, crowning over the wall, and Tokimo has to flash away. Gets clipped by the stun as Nos2K getting good Jhin damage over the wall, but Reckless, as the support, happy to take it, and Velia will be stealing this buff away. We'll see what the response to Macroboy is going to be here. He's already starting on the top side, but he isn't doing too well in the health department himself. So good start for the Ratones.
Yeah, excellent start. Even you really want to get Lilia out of her groove. She is that carry jungle. We saw that when Team Phantasma was playing early in the game, and if you get her out of her comfort zone, she'll need to go and invade. She's not the greatest invader. You see her once, you instantly collapse, you instantly get the kill. And what's Tokimo doing? He warded that red buff, but that means that Nos2K is getting zoned away from very precious gold. And he also misses a lot of XP. He's still level 1, by the way.
Velia is a 1-2 flashes straight into his face, though. Level 1 or no, the knockback's still there, relative with the damage. Reckless with the heal, and Los Ratones saving Private Velia. They get the Pantheon to safety.
Oh my god, somehow it did work. And what do they gain from that? Nothing. You lost so much time on the Rel. You now know where the Panther is going to be, and hypothetically you're looking to punish him again, but I'm not sure if anyone else can follow up. Relative has no flash, Tokimo has no sums, and Velia is still pretty fine. He's chilling.
Is still in the bot side jungle, still level 1, just walked in. Hex splashed over the wall now and has got some vision down on the Raptors, but finally Tokimo's going to go and absorb some XP and get some levels. We'll see what he can do with that one, but yeah, a lot of action early on, and Velia slips away, does get that buff stolen. That whole mess did give Acroboy plenty of time to do whatever he wants and have his own normal early game, but that top side for Los Ratones is still there. Velia did not get anything stolen away. He's going to have his full clear.
Yeah, at least for now. Maybe he's going to lose a double skull, but that's not the end of the world, right? The only thing he's going to be worried about is the loss of his flash, but You know who's the biggest winner of them all is? I think it's going to be Crowny, because Ezreal is excellent to start the game. If you think how strong his passive is with all that extra attack speed. But then he suffers in that first couple of buys. And look, he has that cheaper recall. He already has the deer. It's stacking up. And Nose hasn't had the chance to go back, get a couple of long swords, and try to get himself in a more powerful position. So Crowny is chilling.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If it had certainly wasted Noz's time, that play onto Belly didn't end up getting the kill. And Ezreal can get rooted up here. Reckless flies in for the stun. The counter CC offered back onto the Rel. It's a decent trade. The AV comes through, but overall, as we say, Crowny still happily ahead right there. Top lane, they're going to break away. Nothing too untoward going on elsewhere on the map right now. We'll have to wait and see where Velia chooses to put his attention as the Pantheon. The onus is on him to be that tip of the spear, as Temporal put it. Afroboy, though, we're expecting a little bit more of a slower pace. Wants to get that ult down. Will they commit to too much?
If it's another one, they might be in trouble, but look how difficult it is. Usually you pick the Jhin early on in the draft because you can contest most of the waves, but Reckless has been clinical with those winter bites and chipping away a little bit of HP, getting away those health pots from the side of EWI means that their early shenanigans really didn't pay off. Look at the CS discrepancy between those two marksmen, and Jhin, notoriously hard to farm under turret. Even if he gets all of those CS, he's still going to be lagging close to 10 CS behind.
Yeah, it's just a bit finicky business working around the 4 ammunition for Jhin. They're going to pull the recall right now, and they're going to start falling even further behind. Velia is currently just really insists on farming this bot side jungle. Despite how many members AP throw at him, he will not be denied and will get the Krug. And actually, the recall's going to be denied. Goes in for a stun, gets a cleanse for the pleasure as well. This is just going from bad to worse for AB's bot side.
Yeah, but they had to use the cleanse, right? Look at Nemesis, he was already half the way in, he has access to that wheel as well, so he was under kill pressure, and it's better to blow the cleanse early than having to use the flash later and maybe surviving. Nose is under a lot of pressure in this early game, and I'm really worried. Yes, there's no real front line from the side of Ratones, but even the Gragas with the damage reduction from his chunk, I'm pretty sure he can kind of tank an underfed Jhin Vulture.
Yeah, I reckon he could probably step to that one. We can ask Baus the minimum there. As Afroboy gonna step up and start these grub camps with Rocklo as well, covering off. So they will be able to pick up some camp for themselves uncontested. The Dragons so far ignored by Los Ratones, who are much more insistent on picking them up in that first game, and the Hextech Soul paid massive dividends for them, especially for a mid-game comp like this. I wonder if we'll see the Rats tend their down to get that objective before too long, see if they can't get themselves another win condition.
I mean, it's the side difference, right? From blue side, you don't have as easy of an access to the Drake bait. Last time they were from the red side, way easier. And now there was also the reset coming in from Crown and Reckless. They don't really want to contest this, but now they want to play.
Ooh, big damage onto Afroboy. The Galliable is ready. Belia is going to step away. Has the Scuttle movement boost as well. Los Ratones will back away. Hands up. Sorry. No harm, no foul. Didn't mean it. Don't get too excited. Afroboy did not have level 6 critically either, so there's no chance of a turnaround sleep.
Okay, and the biggest win right now for the Ratones is that Tokimo showed himself topside again. And look, Crown and Reckless pushing in the lane. Nemesis blocking the right path towards the bot lane. That means that Nos can never push out. They're getting deep vision into the enemy blue side jungle, giving Velia more info, more opportunity to try and dive. And right now, even denying a couple of CS away from the Jhin. Nos is really, I've said it already a couple of times, but I am not envious of his position.
No, I thought he had a perfectly reasonable first game, to be honest. Decent in the lane and had a couple of really good team fights on the Varus, but the game just kind of got away from him as the rest of AV started to fall down. And now in this second game, the Jhin is not having much luck here. No room to maneuver. Tokimo feels needed elsewhere, whereas Reckless is happy to just sit, you know, lassoed to Crowny's waist, and they're just going to town on this bot side.
Okay, they don't really have to do anything over there. For now, they have to just be wary. Relative was moving, and now he's getting punished.
Yeah. Here comes the ultimate. That's the Valkyrie already down, and the flash is there. Easy secure the first blood for the Pantheon.
It's so heartbreaking from all of the other side. They tried so hard to get that Pantheon away from his early game spikes, but they couldn't find the timer. the first flash used was not punished, that he was never invaded, he was never caught out. And now Velia collecting that first blast cash out, getting the first Drake, making sure that it's completely disconnected from the second grab spawn. He should be the one running them up until the next Drake spawns. But
House
hello?
is deep behind enemy lines, is going to get caught on ulted by Afroboy. Relative is there to lay the damage down, and Afroboy's going to pick up the credit. Okay, I mean, sure. That's one for the VOD review, I suppose. We'll find out what the thinking was there.
I mean, you know, I don't claim I'm smart enough to understand bows a lot. Okay, if I ever try and copy this playstyle, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna aim. But even me, I have some questions. It wasn't like he had already blown the wave. What were we doing there? Were we scouting the enemy jungle?
Yeah, we were simply testing limits. You know, scouting camps. Buzzwords, synergies, you know, we were doing all sorts of things up there that we wouldn't understand, Rev. It's not for us to know.
It's good, as Gabriel put it, it's good on the proxy, so it's fine.
Exactly, right? He has gotten the proxy. That's what the Balsazor has got, is the proxy, is the plates continue to tumble on this bot side. Rocklo now has been rotated down to bear the burden of standing up under Reckless and Crowley's onslaught on this tower.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the bird. It's the wrong skin. He could go for the bird here, but it bird the burden, you know. But no.
I'm gonna need you to stay with it. You need to stay on point, okay? Stay on target. This is important series for the NLC, okay?
I will not apologize. That's who I am, and you know it, Trajan. That was an attempt there to try and dive Rockler. He's unafraid, just making sure he collects as much of the wave as possible. Pretty tanky early on. Galio is one of the stat checkers of all time. And even if you try to get him out of lane, you're gonna have, if not a hard time, a long time to go through that 2k HP so early in the game. But still, if they collect another plate, they should be fine. And maybe they wanna move to the grab. No, they wanna try and repeat the dive.
Bringing Nemesis down. Veli is coming through soon to get some stun, some early damage, reset the aggro, Crowning with a little bit of damage. And in fact, the Grump seems to be the target of Veli's affections right now. Not interested in the dive just yet. Perhaps not wanting to risk with such a high HP level. This does now leave Baus, force the TP into mid lane to hold it from Relative. Here comes round 2 on the dive. Who's going to take up that aggro? Rocklo doing good damage. Velia suffering, actually. Has to drop the E, but falls. Rocklo flashes away.
Hello?
Crowdy as well. It's a mega botch in the bot side for Los Ratones. Lucky for them, Baus found a solo kill in mid.
I mean, yeah, he found the solo kill. And luckier as well, it's that Crowny dies to nothing, only the tower. That means that's an execute, and that means that it doesn't count as a feat of warfare, and we're still on the 2-2 equal territory. But that was weird. I'm not sure if Velia knows that his E doesn't block target shot anymore, and hasn't for the last year. He tried to block it. If I was him, I'd try to deal some more damage, maybe get that kill. But of course, I'm not as good as a game. So I'm not him.
In the moment, you're just like, maybe, right? There's a fraction of my brain that thinks, maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I forgot. Maybe it's going to save me. Sadly, it will not, as Baus may need some saving himself as the TP is coming in from Rocklo with full HP. No flash to follow up, and Baus does have his if he needs it. Steps on the Gin Trap, has to burn the Summoner. Still escape at least this time with the speedy recall of the Symbiote Souls.
I mean, yeah, it's the funny boot, so you're always getting the Baron recall, and he's all fine, he's all done. The Nemesis is also getting a lot of work done in the bot lane turret, getting it very low, and it's very important both for the gold value and for the feat of strength if you really want to go towards that side, because I'm not really sure how strong they are anymore. They've been also nerfed repeatedly, so do you think they're even important at all? Do teams need to chase for the feat of strength more than they would actually go for the extra turret or the extra kill?
I think it's really just a nice bonus, right? It's not something you should strategize around necessarily, and definitely people were, they have been nerfed a couple times, and I think they were still over-indexed on somewhat, but now it's really just, it is a reward for teams for being active on the map early, as opposed to something that they should think, oh, this is how we're going to secure the boots in this game, you know? So still getting that Noxian flavor, but in a flavorful way, not a game-warping way. So I think we're in a good spot.
I guess I can get behind that idea. So if it's there, it's good. It's like you never say no to a gift.
Yeah, of course.
So that's fine.
Like this
And
blue buff
buff.
that Velia has just
Yeah.
walked
Oh.
away with. Afro Boy actually goes and gets the stun. The Jin ultimate though in a great position. Curtain calling across the river. And Los Ratones have to be careful with that one. Afro Boy slinking away without much health to speak of. The rest of Los Ratones simply step back. Oh, Velia, I say step
they're
back.
going for
What I meant
more.
was ult forward from the Pantheon. Does not find Afro Boy. Maybe looking for a cheeky lazy recall, but won't get any angle in there. Nemesis TP's back onto the map. We have a little reset.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the world I'm looking for Afroboy's play is ambitious, because I'm not sure what you're trying to do. Your whole team is way farther behind. Maybe you were looking at Team Phantasm and you're like, okay, we also have a Jin. He can enable himself from 3 kilometers away, but no. If that's only him, if the whole of the enemy team is grouped up and ready to cover, there's not really much you can do, especially since his ultimate only got one person, and that person still has the flash, still has the ult. You can go so far away and create so much space. Now with that, you've given away full control of the Drake territory, and with that, I also think you're kind of giving up the first tower of the game, especially since Baus got that fabled one more wave in the top side, had the extra reset, and now with the Cosmic Drive, I'm pretty sure he has cooldowns for days.
Yeah, he's already solo killed relative once. That Corki has to be careful. Down goes the first turret, secured for Los Ratones, and we saw the Infernal Rift coming through. The Drake gods are blessing Los Ratones today. Hextech in game 1, Infernal in game 2, and they are off the starting block with 2 early dragons to kick us off as well. So one chance to track for another early soul if they can get that one down. Mid turret does fall. Maybe we'll pick up one of their own. Crowning has to give up the space.
I mean, mid lane turret as well is so important when you have some of those immobile mages. Talia, not the greatest side lane pressure. I mean, she's kind of fine. She's not an Orianna, but if you have the opportunity to just push a wave and move, it's always better for her. And with the mid lane turret being dropped, I think that means that you can always pressure a little bit further in and try and apply more pressure there in the side lane. And Baus, I think, is going, okay, very nice.
Lovely knockback. Great tower shot secured onto Rocklo. Almost 70% HP done by it, but the ult channeling doesn't have it. No cooldown to stop the TP, and Galio will escape with his life.
I mean, you know what? It's still super light, right? You're getting the Galio teleport. So he has one less tool to play with. He will need to commit the ultimate, and the ultimate is also a huge cooldown and isn't global.
Dropping ultimates on this rail kill right now. They've got him very, very low. The shield there, but doesn't get over the wall. Galio won't coming in hot right now. Reckless now the one. Getting aggressed on, has to flash to safety away from the rest of the Ratones. No Galio taunt to be found, and AV successfully defend their support.
I mean, they defend the support, but they're losing much more prio on the map. Look at Baus in the bot lane. He's already dealing with the tier 2 tower. There's the ult on top. They're trying to get relative.
With the stun, but Nemesis not quite in range. Does he have the flash? There it is. Relative burns a summoner. Again, stays alive, and you're right, Baus is currently proxying to his heart's content. Has that bot tower already done. Sidesteps the Justice Punch. The footwork around the bot side. Tokumo is there, but does have the flash as well. They want to commit this one. They've got the 3 versus 1. Baus has already got the inner turret. It's worth more than his life, to be honest. It might just be a time-wasting exercise at this stage. The phase rush to safety. Oh, over the wall! And is he going to get to safety? He's almost out of mana, but AV just don't have the damage in place to chase him all the way down, I fear. He's almost at the turret with the speed up from the feathers on the ground as well, and Baus leads them on a merry chase down the bot side.
Oh, I can hear, like, if we were football commentators, we would be yelling Ankarabausi, Ankarabausi, Ankarabausi over here, because he broke some ankles over there. 0 mana, 0 kills in the world. Baus did whatever he wanted, create so much space for his team in the top side. Nemesis collecting one more tart, and look at the gold lead right now, as it's already ballooning over 2k, and there's still one more very important neutral in the top side. Last game, they let it drop to EWI, but now Ratones, I think they do have full control over the Herald.
Yeah, it's not as fast-paced as last game was, kind of contradictingly, as maybe would expect the Pantheon Talia to lead Los Ratones to a bit more early action, but their plays that they picked have been strong, besides that bot lane tower, but they're way up in objectives. Move on to the Herald right now. And this does feel like a much different sensation from game number 1. AV had a pretty solid early game that they lost control of as the game went on and let Ratones back into it, but this really feels like the NLC first seed is just in control from minute 1. All their plans are working out, and AV cannot get a foothold.
I mean, I feel like it's different but completely the same, because last game, again, EVE had control in the early stages of the game and then they kind of lost it. Now, you can say that, hey, we've drafted a little bit more frontline, a little bit more engaged, carry jungle and double marksman, but you don't really call double marksman with the new Corki, because the new Corki is a mid-range assassin mostly, and Jin is also a long-range assassin and enabler, so it's not really the double marksman that will carry on later in the game. You don't have the critical scaling attack speed champions who will deal with a neutral objective in the matter of a couple of seconds. And on the other side, there's a Taliyah, there's a Braum, always good, and Ezreal without a heavy enemy front line. You can really ignore the Rel. She doesn't build so much armor, especially with the symbiotic souls. And I think that Ratones finds themselves already in a place where they have almost outscaled the enemy team.
Yeah, they've got so much working in their favor. Dragon spawns as a Herald, crashes into mid lane. That's going to open up that last outer for Los Ratones as they rotate down to the Dragon, trying to get control of that vision. There's an opportunity for AV to look for a potential pincer angle here if Los Ratones are sloppy in the way they enter, but they're so strong and they're clearly ready to spoil for a fight. Relative loses the W. Already doesn't have the flash. Jin ult comes through. Afroboy can't get in range. A lovely bounce ultimate keeps him out of the Galio ult though. Is going to get good damage onto Crowny. He gets taunted up. The heal and the cleanse is there to keep him alive. And Battle's threatening on the flank. AV do not want to step forward as LR are running for the hills. They've got the objective they wanted and they don't lose a man for it.
Oh, Crowny almost got picked away, and that could turn the fight into EVE's favor. But Velia and Baus were the ones creating the space. They managed to save their marksman, even at the cost of both his summoners. So the next 3 to 4 minutes are very important. He hadn't bought the Ionian boots on the he just made that purchase. So that means that the cooldowns are full, and in those 3 to 4 minutes where the cleanse is down and the flash is down, maybe we can get a pick.
This has been a really lovely game from Baus on the Gragas there, keeping Afroboy away from the objective range, threatening them. You could see how scared Evie were on that play. If they step forward, they know Baus is going to go in. He's just secured the Lich Bane as well. His damage is accelerating so far. And last game was a bit of a Baus classic, but this one is a bit more of the evolved pro play Baus on the Gragas that we've seen, not dying in the side lanes, outplaying the opponents and having big impact in the fights.
Is that the Baus evolved, or is it the Gragas?
Oh, it's just the Gragas angle. It's,
I mean, yeah, you get 45%, or I think it's 30 on level 1% damage reduction in the W. You get your E, you get Phase Rush. You don't play Phase Rush on the Cho'Gath, so the Cho'Gath's way more of a slow collected champion. The Gragas does allow for a little bit more ankle breaking, and of course, yeah, he's evolved. Like I took a peek at the chat and somebody mentioned 20 minutes of game, only 1 death. It's really rare for Bausy.
Yeah, not even just for Los Ratones, just for Baus. Yeah. Forget the whole team, just for him.
The champion also enables him. I think it's one of his classics as well, and he makes such a good use of them. I was really keeping my eyes peeled at the Gragas in the last team fight, and he was dealing so much with the enemy backline. He never let them touch Crowny.
Gragas cannot be ignored, must be respected as the tournament continues. Now, Los Ratones, they've opened up a nice lead for themselves. Over 3,000 is the extension for them. Once again, on Drake's Soul Point. Less than 3 minutes until that Infernal Soul comes live. And they have got all the map control in the world. They are happily containing Evie to their sides of the map, hugging their inner towers right now. It's a real struggle for them to get deep vision on the map.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you look at who's gonna follow up at any point in the game. What are your carries doing? I see a Corki still struggling to complete the Muramana. I see a Jin still struggling to complete the Infinity Edge. He doesn't even have the full components. Okay, he just completed it, so that's a spike for him. And I see Lilia still hasn't completed the Riftmaker as well, so you're still looking for those 2 item spikes, and hypothetically, that's where your team comp shines, right? All those champions start coming online on 2 items, and that's where they're strongest. But I'm then taking a peek at the LR side. Baus, almost 3 items strong. Velia, close to 2 items strong, keeping at the same pace with the Lilia, who should be heavily out farming him. Nemesis, 2 items and a little bit, 2.5 items for Crowny. They are so far ahead. Even if you don't have the huge spikes of completed items, all those little components matter so much when the enemy team hasn't got the second items completed all across the board.
if they can just find a big catch onto Crowny. They almost had him in that last Dragon fight. They had him caught up, CC chained. It was a cleanse out and an E and a heal that had to be dropped to keep him there. He doesn't quite have the cleanse back up again. But if they can get Crowny off the board, it takes a lot of the sting out of that Los Ratones team fight, but it's hard to get onto the Reckless, never mind the Braum, as maybe they're going to attempt to play onto Velia instead. Nemesis drops the wall down, splits relative up, and Tokimo left alone on the front line. No one to back him up, no one to help him out, as Noz has to flash away, sidesteps the Baus ultimate. Well done by the Jhin to keep himself safe, but now the Galio is the one abandoned in the 4 versus 1. A flash face plants into the wall, and it's a shutdown for Velia.
I swear to God, that was the full caster curse into effect, because I was hyping Bowsy up so much, and in this fight he connected 0 spells. 3 body slams, an ultimate to choose, everything lost to the Aether. And I could hear the TikTok edit of, they just want to see me fall with it, Zidane like touching his head or whatever. But yeah, it's still a very nice fight, calm, collected. Nemesis did so much to split the enemy team into 2 or 3 spots, and that was more than enough for
Let's get the shield
the
up for
Rat
our
army.
boy right there. Atakan has been secured. We don't want to lose any of those buffs for free. Los Ratones, Crowny especially, still happy to throw out some... This one, for now, they have pulled the recall. Baus is on the flank right now. The TP's coming in too. They need to wait for Belly. He's got an ult to come in. Baus has found Noz! The Jin's been eliminated before the fight can even start. And now Los Ratones charging forward. They smell blood in the river. Crowny Ian forward, looks for Rocklow. Can't find the kill, but near enough. And down goes the Drake Soul. Baus round the corner as well. Farming waves while the fight's still going on. Relative should be able to escape. Another E keeps him there. As the Baus withdrawal comes through, Afroboy isolated and taken down. Tokimo next on the docket. Lovely knockback from Nemesis, secures it. And Los Ratones take everything. The Atakan, the Soul, the Baron is live. This is looking devastating.
And they still have 4 retreats remaining for them. We might not get the teamfight fiesta we were expecting, but that's the evolution of the Ratones. They play calm, they play collected, and they allow their players to shine. Baus found the angle, and now Los Ratones find everything on the map.
Wonderful passage of play for Los Ratones right there. This game has been a masterful performance so far. 26 minutes in. No, it's not been kill heavy, but they've had all the objectives under wrap since the minute go. And now they've still got a couple of Atakan buffs ticking away that they can play with for another little while. They've got the Baron keeping the waves up. And AV need to find an answer very, very soon.
And how? How do you find the answer? Look at the gold lead. It's 8k, 26 minutes in the game. Look at the items. They're nowhere to be found. They're 2 items strong everywhere. And Ratones already have 3 items. Plus, look at Baus. He once again does the favorite Baus special. He never completes the lost chapter. And he has almost 3 full items on top of that.
That is massive right here. The waves crashing into the towers. Baus and Nemesis on one side. Mid lane held up by the rest. Afroboy has a flank position, and Rocklow is trying to get a push going on bot side, trying to scrape some gold back off the map. This at the cost of multiple inhibs, and the Nexus could be under threat before too long.
I don't know if you can do something. This is your final stand. You have to commit right now, otherwise you just donezo.
Got to get in there. The towers are getting lower and lower. The Jhin calls the curtain once again. Decent damage on the Crowny, but bounces in again. He lights the gap. And just like that, Los Ratones securing the last few kills. AV gave it their best, but they could not hold it. The Nexus ticking down. Barely still alive. Is it enough? In goes Rel. Relative on the Corki has to perform a hero's job. Tagged by the Q, and down they go. Yesterday was the setback for Los Ratones, and today is the bounce back. They have completed the Washed Region's Day of Redemption.